Let's shift our attention to this week when Mr. Peter Obi made that exit from the Labour Party to join a broader coalition, one that he has supported since the get-go. It has been a major political development. And of course, he is now with the African Democratic Congress, popularly known as ADC. The move has stirred debate, especially as sections of the obedient movement remain within the Labour Party itself, creating questions about loyalty, structure, and the future of opposition politics in the country. To help us unpack the implications of this shift, we're joined by Comrade Eragbe Anslem. He's the national youth leader of the Labour Party under the Ninadi Usman Caretaker Committee. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Does that Caretaker Committee still exist?
Yeah, it exists.
Why are people still in the Labour Party?
Don't forget, Eragbe Anslem, don't forget the Labour Party is a registered political party in Nigeria with a life of its own. And leadership in any political party is transient because it is tenured. In most cases, 4 years in the first instance. The renewable 4 years, if elected. Unlike in the case where we were elected from the National Convention, 10th June 2019, for a life of 4 years, which expired 9th June 2023. Though with the protracted 1 year illegal extension, notwithstanding, like I keep saying, it became 5 years, upon which Julius Abore's tenure expired. And you saw all the legal issues that followed, to the point where the federal FCTI court in the first instance upheld Abore's leadership, followed by the appeal court, for which the Supreme Court, in its landmark judgment on the 4th of April 2025, dismissed all of those earlier lower court judgments for want of jurisdiction.
Yeah, but the key question is, Peter Obi has left. Why are you still in the Labour Party? Well,
like we say, Peter Obi, don't forget, Peter Obi came from the PDP in 2022 and joined us in Labour Party. And within that space of time, because of what he portended for the nation and the party, he became our presidential candidate. And we did the best we could to get him to power. But however, the world saw the intrigues that played out in the Labour Party and as to how it affected Peter Obi's election. So the crisis lingered. Remember, that whole crisis began with me, sometimes on 18th October 2022, where Abure claimed he purportedly suspended me, having heaped out so many allegations that were unfounded. That was the genesis of the crisis that has lingered up to today. But I warned. I remember vividly when this matter started, I advised the leadership, everybody, to immediately look into that matter because I knew it was going to affect the outcomes. But however, Peter Obi did the much he could to remain, but the world saw the intrigues as to how Abure led the onslaught that destroyed the fortunes of the party, and as to how Peter Obi could no longer remain. So as a politician, I must give it to him, he needed to move to find a befitting political party structure where he could, run his aspiration. So for us in that faction, though we are the legitimate and authentic
I think it's best you use the word faction, because if we have the Abure camp here, they would also claim to be the legitimate leadership.
No, they are not, because like we say, the law is clear, except if we wish to deceive ourselves. We don't delude ourselves. The landmark judgment, myself and Abure came from the same national convention, like I told you, 10th June 2019. Abure was elected as national secretary. Abure has no entitlement to the office of the chairman. So all those illegalities took place, but let's allow that. So that tenure expired after 5 years on 8th of June 2024.
Yeah, I get all the legal quagmire there, but at the heart of the question is the people who pushed for the recognition of this committee. 70 to 80% of them have now defected with Mr. Peter Obi. So the question is, where does your support come from now? Now that Peter Obi and a majority of his supporters have decided to join forces with the ADC.
Yes, like we say, we need to separate 2 or 3 issues now. The first issue is there is a political party called the Labour Party that has a life of its own with leadership structure. headed by Senator Nenadi Esther Usman. And all of us...
As recognized by you.
As recognized by the law. Like I said, you see, the infraction in the party created by Abure, aided by external factors, we are aware. You know me, I don't like to miss my words, like I said.
You go to the INEC website, which I believe you have checked, right?
You see.
And it's still Julius Abure's name.
Yeah, I will tell the world.
That has been recognized by the electoral umpire, the institution that regulates the activities of political parties. So I don't want us to go down the rabbit hole of legality because I'm not an interested party in this, right? I just want us to talk about the politics of the situation.
Yeah, quickly, but let me clarify something. Like I said, you see, INEC claim is a creation of the law. Remember here the last time I said INEC on the 8th of October 2024, when the FCT High Court gave that judgment after Abure's tenure expiration. Are you getting it? Because of the Ondo governorship crisis. Abure, that court order was what INEC used to put Abure's name on the portal. That's why you see court order, not by election. So, and INEC said the only time they can remove that name, are you with me, sir, is until they have another court order. Remember when the Supreme Court judgment came, it came without an order. So we have now filed to the Federal High Court seeking a consequential order of the Federal High Court for the implementation of the Supreme Court judgment to get an order to remove Abure's name. And on the 19th of January, this January 2026, that judgment will be delivered. And by the grace of God, on the 19th or 20th or thereafter, INEC will now have that document to remove Abure's name. So that is that about that. So to come back.
Yeah.
So let's agree. So that is why you see Abure's name there. There's no legality behind Abure's name there because Supreme Court has determined that matter. And the neck of the party, National Executive Council, in 2 instances, 4th of September and 17th of July 2025, reappointed Nenadi and all of us for the party. That is the highest body in the party's leadership. So to come back home to the question. So the Labour has 3 issues to be separated. So I have separated the party's issue, right? To say the party has a life of its own with a leadership, right? Then 2, to say Peter Obi as a presidential candidate 2023 for the party now could no longer remain in the party because of this crisis that was foisted. Now, how do you imagine him to run on the party's platform now, for instance, where he's not sure of the leadership, ideally as it were?
But you do understand that he's not coming back even if this matter is settled.
Oh, certainly. He's gone for good, like we say. We encourage him also to go so that he could realize...
Encourage him or support him?
No, we encourage and also supported him. Encourage in the first instance to say in May 2025, remember this whole idea of coalition started with the Labour Party when the NSC, the Nigeria Labour Congress, in March, in a NEC meeting of the Nigeria Labour Congress, the NSA agreed that the Labour Party should go into, are you getting it, an alliance building process with other political parties for the sole purpose of what? Strengthening its position for 2027. Now, 2 months later was when the ADC came on board. Because we're still struggling with this leadership issue to separate these matters, and we now found that the ADC provided credible men and was on a likely platform. We went into that discussions at the onset, and the party enjoined and authorized Peter Obi as a presidential candidate for the party, Labour, anticipated to go. So we gave him the mandate to go and the support. That's why in July, sometime July 23rd or thereabout, when the ADC alliance came to head, remember, Peter Obi and all of us were still there because, like I said, APC came to power by reason of merger. Are you with me? With other ACN, AMPP, and some other parties came under a merger.
But the Labour Party is not exploring that option.
Yeah, we're exploring a coalition, an alliance building process for 2027. A coalition because we don't need to lose our identity.
On whose authority? Are you saying that this is what Nenadi is pushing for with her committee to explore an alliance with the ADC? Okay. Is that your objective?
Yeah, let me put it in very clear perspective. First and foremost, the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress. Remember, the Labour parties are institutional political parties belonging to the Labour centers. NSC, and the world needs to know this, and TUC. So they are key stakeholders. Now, and the the ideology of the Labour Party is for social democracy, to enhance the welfare and well-being of Nigerian workers and the indigent. So, and this philosophy is the reason why the Labour Party found expression. And this is what we are now trying to implement as party leaders. Now, in line with this ideology, the Labour centers earlier in March 2025 came up from their NEC meetings, National Action Meeting, with a resolution to say, Labour Party, look around, go into alliance talks with other political parties in Nigeria for the purpose of achieving A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Are you with me? Now, it is not only a Labour Party and ADC that are in this alliance. There are other parties. In the days ahead now that Peter Obi has moved, all of us in the National Working Committee are still intact. The world needs to know this. But of course, the obedient movement is the third part of the three issues I wanted to separate. Now, the obedience, these are they cut across political divides. We have obedience in APC. We have obedience in PDP. Are you with me?
Is that just a claim or is something that is
real? It's real.
Because
it's not a claim.
Who are the obedience in APC?
No, there are many.
Who are
Even
they?
in PDP. Now, let me explain this.
Who are they?
No, there are. They will tell you themselves. We have obedience in APC.
We have never heard of an obedient in APC on air before.
No, there are. The world, they will tell you. Now, what I'm saying now to the world is to say we have obedience in all parties in Nigeria. Now, what is the issue of this obedience? Even though it is now coined after Obi. But obedience are young Nigeria. Remember, when the EdSARS struggle in 2020 started, due to the police brutality and so many other issues that pervaded the political space at that time, the youth of this country began to rally themselves around to look for a man or a woman who could lead the rebirth of Nigeria. That was the struggle. Are you with me, sir? Now, so it is this quest for a new Nigeria that youth of this country now form themselves into a group from across the political divides in Nigeria. Until, fortunately, Peter Obi came up. Remember, like we say, he was in the PDP. So when it was obvious that the arrangement in the PDP would not favor, he left, and we welcomed him in Labour Party. And the ticket ultimately, remember, I was a presidential aspirant, 2019 or 2023. When Peter Obi joined us, some of us agreed to say, okay, this is a man with experience more than some of us who had been a governor. Are you getting it? Who also holds the ideology of what we believe. And as the national youth leader of the Labour Party, like I tell the world, I rolled out a plan ultimate to lead to his own victory and success. It was that same plan that Julius Abure scored to. We saw how it ended. So the obedience, the word you raised to say, these are the youth of this country who predominantly wanted a new kind of Nigeria. And they needed somebody with such character, integrity to lead the onslaught. Obi luckily found himself in that equation, which we rally around.
Okay.
Remember the NSC, the TUC, all of us in that cycle were for that mission.
All right. We have to wrap things up. But earlier in the day, we saw Governor Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau State join the APC. We understand that there are conversations that are happening behind the scenes regarding Kano and probably other PDP-dominated spaces, whatever is left of it anyway. How concerned are you about APC's growing political map and how it appears that APC is becoming too big to fail? Your final thoughts on that?
Well, basically, first and foremost, I have a word of caution for the APC. This is the caution. We saw how President Goodluck Jonathan, an incumbent president in 2015, lost election at the polls. As at that time, the PDP was the ruling party. Nobody believed they could lose, and they lost. Now, two, APC is in the saddle today, and we have suddenly see how we're almost tending towards a one-party state. There could be a lot of deception in politics. Accept this. My advice to APC is, first and foremost, the issues that have been raised, Mr. President, Excellency Abdullahi Ahmed Tinubu, we need to put his ears on the ground. And first and foremost, ensure that from now to 2027, he tries as much as possible to carry the people of this country along. That is his first duty. The issue of how he comes to power is his secondary duty. But these people, for instance, you see the tax law and the arguments everywhere. You see the burden of hunger or want or lack in the country. These are issues. The unemployment, these are issues. So my advice is to say, Mr. President and your team, sit down critically, beginning now, get more youth employed, get this system more functional. For instance, the subsidy removal and its intervention, where are the implementation and the palliatives. So once all these things can begin to manifest, now you can, the people jumping to APC, they may be jumping in for many reasons. So many people are under EFCC and the rest and are looking for a hiding place for safety.
All right, so you're not worried? You're not worried? Okay. Comrade Anslem, as always, good to see you. Thanks so much for stopping by this evening. Happy New Year, and I believe that the next couple of weeks will be quite interesting, to say the least. Thank you so much for your time this evening. It's a pleasure for Nigerians to watch out for Labour Party. Like we say, it's about to rebuild itself. All right. And to move forward. Until it does, thank you so much for joining us. My pleasure. And that is a wrap on tonight's edition of the program. Daily Politics returns next week, live on Monday, live at 8 p.m. Until next time, I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. From myself and the rest of the team, thank you for joining us. We'll see you soon.